name is Rachel, and I'm with the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a character head pinch pot.
So first off, we're going to cut it into two pieces, and one is going to be smaller and one is going to be bigger. We're just going to set the smaller one off to the side, and with that bigger piece, you're going to want to roll it into a nice ball. Take your time with this. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it makes it easier if it is a ball. So next off, we're going to make the hole in the middle. So we're going to take our thumb and push it into the center. And once you've got your thumb in there, you put your other thumb in and you start pinching. This is why it is called a pinch pot. And so we're going to pinch all the way around, making sure to pinch along the bottom, and it can't be bigger than your thumb or smaller than your pinky. So pinch around. Don't forget to pinch the bottom, because sometimes we do forget to pinch the bottom and it is way too thick. And when it is thick like that, it takes a long time for it to dry. So next off, we're going to want to make the mouth shape that we want. So I'm going to do a little bit different of a shape. I'm going to pinch the sides and on the top to make the opening of the mouth. And there will be some cracks and imperfections, so you just take a sponge and smooth that out. If you like the cracks, then you can keep it, but I just like to smooth it out a little bit. So now with the smaller piece, we're going to make the eyes and the teeth and the tongue. So first off, I'm going to make the eyes. So I'm going to roll it out, and then I'm going to make a Cyclops today. So I make the eye shape that I'd like. So take your time with this part. You can to make the shape that you'd like, and then just see where I want to put it. And then to attach it, you take the dowel and scratch it up a little bit, and then scratch where you want to put it. And this is called scratching it to attach it. So you scratch it on both sides so you can attach it there. But to make it stick properly, we take water in the sponge to have a little bit of water, and then squish it on, making sure that there's no air bubbles. We don't want air bubbles in it because in the kiln the air bubbles can expand. So now we're going to make the teeth. I'm going to do the same thing I did before and make two teeth. So I make pieces about the size of a piece of gum, and so those are ready to go, and I want those to be in the top so that's the same as the previous piece. So then again, I'm scratching where I want to put it and the piece that I'm attaching. Take some water and squeeze out the water out of the sponge. Dab it onto the piece. And then I stick it on, making sure again to squish out the air bubbles. And then I go to the other tooth, do the same thing again. And then they won't be perfect right when you stick them on, so you can use the other tools that you have to smooth out the look of it to make it look more connected. And then now I'm moving on to the tongue. So I'm going to be taking the rest of the small piece of clay. I'm going to be ripping off a small piece. You don't have to use the whole piece of clay. For one project, you can keep it aside and make something else. So I take that, and then with my metal scraper, I'm just pushing it down to flatten it out. And then I decided that it was a little bit too thick, so I'm taking the dowel, which is a little bit more precise than the knife, I'm just carving off the sides. And then with those small pieces, you want to make sure to squish it back into the ball because it can dry very quickly and then you won't be able to use it. So then there will be some rough edges, so then you just take your finger and smooth it out. And once again, we are scratching the piece that we want to attach and then scratching where we want to attach it. So now I take the sponge with a little bit of water and just making it a little wet, and then squishing it down and smoothing it out. And that's your finished building piece. And then to add details to it, you're going to be using the dowel once again. You can use this to make that little line in the tongue and just smooth that out just to get those rough pieces off. And then for the eye, I just used the other end of the dowel that isn't pointy and just poked a little hole in there and twisted it around, and it creates a nice pupil. You can also use the dowel to make textures on your piece as well. So now we're moving on to the glazing. So in the kit you will receive a large paintbrush and a small paintbrush. So I'm going to be painting my guy a sparkly white. So I'm taking the glaze and just going up and down. And then in between coats, you should let this dry a little bit and then go over top to do another layer. To get a proper color on the piece, you're going to want to do at least 2 coats of the glaze on the piece. You can do 3. If you do just 1 layer, then it will be a watercolor. So there you go. It's your finished product.